Good evening folks, Silver here. Today we have 3 short Pokemon Creepypastas for your enjoyment. One, a cautionary tale, but another, the results of a questionable experiment. What are these stories about, you ask? Let's find out. Also, before we begin, only a small percentage of you that listen to these stories are actually subscribed, so if you're not enjoying this narration, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe later. With that, enjoy the story. Number 1. Darkras Dream. My name? That's not important. It's my story that is. I'm a little girl, around the age of 6 or 7, and I've honestly forgotten. My best friend in the whole world was my Abra, and I lived in an old house on an almost inactive volcano called Reversal Mountain in Lentimus Town. My story begins with a normal day. The sun was shining somewhere under all the smoke, and the heat was scorching but bearable. To me, this was a very pleasant day. I loved to play in the tall grass. I almost never encountered Pokemon, and when I did, Abra just teleported me away. Despite the comforting atmosphere around me, I felt off, like something was watching me somewhere, but where? I continued to play regardless, and everything was fine until it showed up. I didn't know what it was. A Pokemon maybe? It was unrecognizable. Just a big black figure with no real shape whatsoever, but with eyes. Big teal eyes that seemed to stare into my soul as if taking it away from my body. I looked down, and I could tell that Abra was trying to use teleport, but it couldn't. It couldn't leave. I couldn't leave. Suddenly, just as soon as it came, it left. No trace of it behind. Nothing. It just disappeared. Abra, in a state of fear and confusion, teleported us away back to my front door. I felt safe. The safety of home. I was happy, pleased to get away from that patch of grass, but another feeling crept over me. Drowsiness. I had the sudden urge to sleep in the very spot I stood, but I didn't. I powered through the day, knowing that my family would feel concerned if I just went to bed without warning. I also couldn't tell them about the thing I saw. They were worried enough with me playing in the grass as it is. I couldn't tell them. The only ones who knew were me, Abra, and it. Bedtime came. Without changing my clothes, I jumped into bed and fell asleep like a light going out. My dreams, for the most part, were normal. I suspected I'd have a nightmare tonight. I always do when I see things that scare me. Always. Although, this one was different. My nightmares are normally me replaying the event that scared me again and again and again until I wake up, on a loop like a broken record. This one was different. I was alone. Abra was nowhere to be found, not in my general sights anyway. The only things I saw around me was complete blackness. It felt more like purgatory than a dream. I tried to wake up, but I couldn't. Then, I saw it. It was blacker than the night, but I could still make up the same black figure with the same teal eyes. It was also real. But this time, it was different. This time the black shadow had shape, at least a distinguishable one anyway. A big ghost-like shape with a red scarf-like ring around its neck that seemed to point up like hell's fire. A white flame-like head shrouded around its eyes. It moved towards me slowly, but gracefully. I opened up my mouth to scream, but no sound came out. I was helpless as it came towards me faster and faster, and it said, "Stay with me. I am truth." I immediately woke up in a cold sweat. It was around 2 AM. I panted, trying to catch my breath. I remembered it all so vividly. I had to tell someone. I walked into my parents' bedroom and woke my dad up. He was cranky and demanded I told him why I woke him up. I told him everything. Without a word, he furiously woke my mother up. He spoke in a hushed whisper so that I couldn't make out what they were saying. Soon, without getting dressed, my father rushed into town, and my mother sat with me on the couch, coaxing me with sweets and games not to go back to sleep. Abra was still sleeping though, motionless. I asked Mother if he could wake up and play with me, but she took one look at Abra, stared at the ground, and managed to chalk out words. No, it's too late for him. I didn't know what she meant, but I didn't question it. Soon, Father came back, looking worried, and soon Mother had the same look on her face, a look of despair and sorrow. Another man walked through the door. He resembled a doctor, but I had never seen him before. He asked me what I saw, and I told him. He nodded. He appeared calm, but I could see a bead of sweat emerging from his forehead. Reaching into his big bag, he pulled out a shiny yellow feather and made it into a necklace with a few beads and handed it to my dad. With some hope, she might survive another night wearing this, he told my father. I was tucked back into bed, the feather around my neck, and I fell asleep fast. I had another nightmare, but this one was different. Still completely black, but I could see Abra sitting in the distance. I ran to him, and as I approached, I could see that he wasn't normal. He wasn't just sitting there, but lying down, motionless. I couldn't tell if he was breathing, but from a glance, there were no signs of life. It came again. The same recognizable figure, the same piercing teal eyes. In a low, rash voice it bellowed, "Life is a lie. He has seen the truth. Let me show you the truth." I ran. I ran as far as I could, as far from Abra, from it as I could. I ran as fast as possible for me, but it was quicker. Catching up, it sped up, faster and faster. It all happened so fast that I forgot I was dreaming, but how could I not? It was all so real. Faster and faster I ran, and faster it caught up, until it reached me. I learned as my soul wandered the planet. The feather was a gift from the Pokemon named Cresselia. I wanted to return the gift, for I was thankful it tried to save me. So, I headed to the Marvelous Bridge, and waited. Number 2. Forgotten. We cannot escape the slow death of remembrance. We're only remembered if we are strong. We can only be lucky if we shine like the stars. Nothing can change the fact that we're all forgotten at one point. If not, to be cast away into the shadows of another. Only the strong will thrive. All weak Pokemon must die. You'll always feel guilty for having a heart, eating you up from the inside to always be set aside. When you're weak, the strong make you feel worthless. When you're young, they don't tell you that the world is out to forget you. Time is fleeting. Soon we'll be knocked out. No escaping despair. Everything we love, we will one day lose. Even when the shadows break, we're already left to the ashes of time. Once we fall, there is no purpose for us, no sympathy for all the weak Pokemon we have slain. When there is nothing left, we never get to choose. We fill our lives with confusing lies, but one truth remains, that we all die. We want to be better. We could try, but they're rushing us to say goodbye. One day we know that we'll be nothing, but they know we're already nothing. When you're young, they don't tell you that the world is out to forget you. Only the strong Pokemon thrive. If we are weak, we all die. Time will soon forget us. Number 3. Pokemon Vault Yellow. I'm a man of horror. I absolutely love horror. Books, movies, and especially the video games. My favorite type of horror is psychological horror, such as Doki Doki, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, and Bendy and the Ink Machine. I never thought Pokemon would try for a horror, or so I thought. I really never liked Gen 8, Sword and Shield, So I decided to travel back to the past and play Pokemon Yellow. Problem is, I never had a Game Boy, so I had to get one. I was expecting to find one easily, since it's an old console. Boy, was I wrong. I looked in every store, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Even online I couldn't find one. I was walking around the neighborhood, defeated, until I found one on the ground. I had no idea where it came from. I picked it up and saw a cartridge in it. I took it out and read the title. Pokemon Volt Yellow. I put the cartridge back in. I saw it said Pokemon in yellow, so I thought, why not? I had no idea what I was about to experience. I went home and turned it on. Other than a few glitches, the game was running fine. I did find the Game Boy out of nowhere, so a few glitches was understandable. Plus, it was an old game. I started the game, and immediately, it was different. Instead of playing as a human trainer in my house, I'm playing as a Pikachu in a lab. I was very confused. Then I remembered the title. I got a ROM hack. I tried to think positive. Maybe this is a good thing. Instead of playing a game where I know what's going to happen, I'm playing this one blindly. So, I decided to keep playing. It was a bad idea. I walked around. It seems I was trapped in this room. I look and walk around and a text box then appeared. Created in your world. Forced to be where he belongs. Weird. I walked to the wall which looked like it had red on it. I forgot to mention that the game had colour. Very detailed colour. I have to hand it to the creator of the ROM. It's very well made appearance-wise. Another text box. Various words you don't understand. Weird. You did write them. Perhaps you don't want to understand. The screen then changed to the words. I recognized them as Latin. Was this Pikachu trying to summon a demon? Or Lucifer himself? I suddenly got excited. Did I just pick up a horror Pokemon ROM? I explore the bed. My bed. Figures. I was expecting something a bit more scary or ominous. I just noticed the settings option. I pressed start on the Game Boy and opened up the settings to notice that there was a first person mode. I pressed it. If this was a horror ROM, I want the whole experience. The graphics were amazing for an 8-bit game. Actually, it looked more like 16-bit than 8-bit. Almost 3D. I walked to the door and pressed A. I tried already. They must have put a barricade on the other side. I'm getting tired. I'm gonna take in for the night. The game faded to black. It was quiet. I waited about 30 minutes for something to happen, but nothing happened. So, I shut the game off and turned it on again. I nearly dropped the device when I was face to face with the bloody Pikachu. A text box then appeared. Made in your world. Forced to be where he belongs. It takes a lot to scare me, but this was horrifying. It was starting to give me FNAF vibes. I continued the dialogue. I'm not going to be trapped here anymore. I want to see her again. Huh? What's he talking about? I went online and looked up Pokemon Volt Yellow. Only one result. Project Volt. Scienceporium Labs. The experiment was to bring a Pikachu into the real world, but it backfired. I looked back at the Game Boy. Made in your world, forced to be where he belongs.